Hi, it's Doug from Doug and Wolf for Big League Dad. I think the most important thing to know about being a Big League Dad is just to accept the fact that you're not perfect. You're watching a video of an imperfect dad trying to tell you about being a dad. We all have to accept that, but are you willing to give everything you have to being a dad? I know I try. I have two girls. I have an 18-year-old and a 13-year-old, and as you can imagine, I love them to death. But I would say the number one thing that really separates great dads is, are you a great husband on top of it? You've got to make sure your marriage is as strong as you can possibly be in order to make sure that it's a two-front process, your wife and you together trying to do what's best for your children. I think that's vitally important. I'll never forget when my daughter was born. When my first daughter was born, Vienna, she was actually only 1 pound 4 ounces when she was born. The only way you really understand how small she was is my ring would actually fit around her arm, wrist, and all the way up to her shoulder, and it hung there. There was a gap between the edge of my ring and her armpit. She was that little. And right before she was born, we heard stories from the nurse that told us about fights that would happen in the delivery room. A fight between the father and the husband because they were two different people. When you hear stories like that, you are a gift. You're already a step ahead with your wife and your children. That's number one, first and foremost. I would say the second thing that I'm most proud of with my girls is communication. I try so hard to talk to them about so many different things in life, whether it be our financial situation. If it's something political, I tell her the facts and then I tell her how I feel. Not to influence her, but just to say this is what I think, but I give her the facts first. I try to do that with both of my kids, so when the communication is there on simple things, then I think the communication will be there on other things. When they need to talk to us about the talk, and the things that we don't really want to talk about on camera right now, they'll feel comfortable enough to come to me and say, well, since we talked about these other things, we're ready to talk about this. Start small, and I promise you it builds. You've got what it takes to be a great dad. Just don't be afraid to screw up. And if you love your kids, it'll be okay. Thanks for watching, and the best to you of being a dad. And if you want me to pray for you, do me the favor and do the same thing for me, because I want to be as good of a dad as I can be too.
98.7 FM, Arizona's sports station.